my husband are working really hard to get financially free. Here are a couple of things that we just don't spend money on as two people in their 30s working hard to build financial freedom. Now, this doesn't mean if you're putting your money into these things that you're making a mistake. For us personally, by not spending money on these things, we're able to save more and put our money into investing, high yield savings. So here's a list of a couple of things we don't spend money on. If you want to borrow some of them, you're free to. The first one, car payments. We do not pay monthly for a car. That is a principle that we currently work with. My husband bought our car at a car auction, and it is a fairly used car. So we didn't buy the car new, and it's been doing awesome. It's had a need for a couple repairs, but it's been taking us everywhere. It's not a fancy car. It does what it's supposed to do, and we are beyond grateful for that car because we don't have to make any $600, $500 monthly payments. And if you top that with insurance, it would be coming up to, possibly $800 on a car. We're not doing that right now. So that money can go into the investing plans that we have, can go into a high yield savings account. We can use it to do more because we're not just spending any money paying for a car monthly. The second is pet insurance or pet care. Having pets are expensive. They're just like having children. You have to pay insurance for them. You have to feed them. You have to wash them. You have to care for them like you have a child. And I'm not saying people shouldn't get pets, but for us, that is just not something we are interested in. I love pets. I grew up with 11 dogs and one cat, but as an adult, I don't want to have them. Pet food is not cheap, especially good ones. So we do not put money into pet care or pet food. The third one is luxury dining. I personally am one of those people who love a simple street food. Take me to eat a really good goat meat, chicken meat somewhere, and we just sit down somewhere by the beach and talk. That's my idea of a fun date. So for both of us, our dining out experiences have continued to be very simple. And yes, do we eat out? Absolutely. But think of it more like DoorDash eat out or a really cool Indian restaurant close to the house eat out versus a $400 dining experience. We just don't do that. It's not a vibe. The one time I and my husband have gone to like fine dining was on one of my birthdays. And while I'm super grateful that we did that, it's just not my vibe. The fourth one is designer anything. We're not the type of people to spend thousands of dollars buying designer bags, even though between both of us, we make a significant six-figure income, almost to the middle figures. So it's not like something that we cannot afford to buy. We can. It's just not something that we are digging deep into buying. Designer bags, designer shoes, designer clothes, we don't buy. We still shop at places like Marshalls, Valentine, Ross, outlet stores to buy clothes. We still buy stuff at Nordstrom Rack. The next thing that we're not buying or paying for is a mortgage. We're just not doing that. The rent is the maximum that you pay on the house that you're living in. A mortgage is the minimum you're paying. There's still a lot of other expenses that come into a mortgage. And for us in the state that we're living in, it just doesn't make sense to buy a home because homes here are ridiculously expensive. So we're not putting our money towards a mortgage. Even though we pay a high rent, the rent is literally the max we're paying on a home. And when we combine the rent with bills, it's still a lot lower than what we would be paying if we're paying a mortgage and then having to maintain it, pay HOA, pay property taxes, and whatever else we have to pay. It just comes up to very ridiculous amounts. It didn't make sense for us. Instead of going into owning or buying a home, we're approaching it from the standpoint of rent vesting. If we must go into real estate, then we would be renting while buying investment properties in a different state and renting that out to other people or even renting it out to businesses. The next thing that we don't spend money on, credit card fees or credit card interest. We do not pay any kind of interest on our credit cards. We pay out a statement balance at the end of the month because that's how they get you. That 29% that your credit card company charges on the balance on your credit card, that's how they get you. They would tell you to pay just the minimum. No, if you can afford to pay your entire statement balance, pay your entire statement balance because every single time you only pay the minimum, they put an extra 29% of whatever you owe on your account. No. And we know that this is a blessing. We're very grateful. Not everybody is in a situation where they can afford to pay off their entire statement balance every single month, even when it's like 3 grand a month. We have been blessed to be able to do that. We do not take it for granted, and it has saved us a lot of money in the long run. Next thing, any type of expensive beauty or self care procedures. Every now and then, we would go to a spa. It's not something that we do regularly. However, things like facials every 3 months, we don't do that because those things cost a lot of money. I went to get my lashes done recently and it cost $104. And don't get me wrong, every now and then I'm going to go do it because I just like how my face looks with lashes. However, it is expensive. It racks up a lot. So for us, it just doesn't make sense to spend, $500, $400, $800 a month on like getting beautiful hair, beautiful brows. Like I shape my brows myself. Like if I take the makeup off, you guys will see it's my brows and I did it myself. Started to learn how to do my lashes myself. I do my nails myself. Like I fix my nails myself. I have this nail brand called Bat Box Nails. I absolutely love them. I'll put a picture on this video for you guys to see. They're so good. The idea of like spending $200, $400, $500 a month on like expensive self care, that's not something that we do right now. In the future, I definitely 100% will get into it. But I feel like for now, our funds are going into investing and creating financial freedom for ourselves, buying assets, not into those type of beauty practices. The next thing is expensive furniture. I have never seen anything that loses its value as fast as furnitures. Everything that's not an asset loses its value. But furnitures just lose so much value. The couch or sofa that we had in our former home was 2,000 and something dollars that my husband got it for. By the time we were moving out, we couldn't even sell it for up to $1,000, which was just ridiculous. We ended up having to just toss them, which was a horrible choice, knowing now that you can donate it to charity and use that for like tax write-off during tax season. But after we learned that, we decided we're not going to spend so much money buying designer furniture. Instead, we would go to discount deals or liquidation stores where they have these furnitures that have not been used, that IKEA woke up one day and they're like, this is not selling anymore. We need to liquidate. They ship it out to these liquidation stores, and people like us go hunting at these places and we find great deals, awesome deals for literally next to nothing. Check out the sofa in our sitting room. This cost us $650. Something that normally would cost like 1,500, 1,200 costs half that because we got it from a liquidation store. And I'm not even ashamed to say that because I make enough to buy a $4,000 sofa. And so does my husband. Like we both could buy sofas way more expensive than that. However, it just doesn't make financial sense. We did the same thing for our bed frame. We got a great quality one. And these are not fairly used items. We're not buying them off of Facebook Marketplace, even though I have no qualms with doing that. However, it just doesn't make sense to spend $5,000, $3,000, $7,000 on a sofa. Make it make sense, especially if we don't have any tangible assets yet or investments. It doesn't make any sense. Next thing that we don't spend a ton of money on are traveling for friends and family members' weddings. As much as we love our friends and we love our family members, there are just some trips we cannot make. If someone is doing a destination wedding and it's in a very far location, we're not going to go and spend $3,000 to attend your wedding. We love you, just not going to happen because that is a lot of money. We're just not going to be spending ridiculous amounts of money trying to get to people's weddings or birthday parties or whatever. It's just not something that we're going to be doing unless we have saved over time for that expense. But you're not going to come and send us an invite 2 months to your wedding and be like, oh, it's going to be in Greece, and expect us to just cough out money and come for your wedding in Greece. It's not going to happen. The next thing we don't spend money on is expensive birthday parties of our own, like throwing birthday parties that will cost us like $10,000, $15,000, $12,000 because we feel like we have the money. We don't do that. Now, this is not bashing people who do that. It's your thing. Let's say you turn 35, 40, 30. You feel like you want to celebrate the big 3-0. You do you. For me, I just don't. Why am I doing that again? Make it make sense. Like I can just do dinner with my friends. I can do beach with my friends. Like there are just so many other ways to enjoy my birthday party with my friend without spending $10,000, $20,000, like ridiculous amounts of money. That's just not something that we're into. Following that is traveling on vacation like multiple times a year. I mean, it would be awesome when we can afford to do it. I am looking forward to that time. But the last vacation that we took netted us about $6,000, if not more. I think 6,000 to $6,500. So why would we do this multiple times a year when we don't have any tangible assets and investments just bringing in actual money for us, like real big money right now? Doesn't make sense. If we must do a vacation, we can do a staycation, or we can do a vacation once a year to another country, but like multiple vacations multiple times a year just because we want to travel, just because we have the money, doesn't make sense. That's not something that we do. Go on vacation once a year right now makes more sense for us. Go on vacation multiple times a year, blowing through $5,000, $4,000, $3,000, like whatever. No, just no. And finally, any kind of monthly payments for things like shoes, bags, liabilities, anything like that, we do not do. We used to do this, we don't do this anymore. And I recently almost fell for this. So when we were going to buy furniture, we ended up at Ashley's and they have really nice furniture. By the time they were done putting together how much our bed, just the bed frame and mattress would cost us, we would have to pay around $5,000 or so for just those two. This minus the sofa, the paintings, like all of the things that wanted to put into the house. And then for us to pay, we would have to do like a long term monthly payment. I almost fell for this until my husband said, why would we be spending monthly payments on a liability? It doesn't make sense. So we decided to walk away from spending that much money on a bed frame and a mattress. And we also decided we're not going to be spending money paying monthly fees on things that are liabilities. So things like buying a hair and then having to pay monthly for it, buying a dress and having to pay monthly for it. No, that's just not the vibe. If we have to pay monthly for anything, it has to be an asset. It has to be something that is putting us on the journey to creating an asset, not things that only create debt and liabilities for us. You feel the vibe? If you love this video, please give it a like and subscribe if you're into personal development and personal finance. This channel is all about content like that. I really hope you love this video. Looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.